Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, folks. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. It's Danny Tisdale, and you're on the Danny Tisdale Show. And this is a special show. This is, as I count, this is number 6 on our hit list. I'm sorry, it's number 5. And this is part of an ongoing series that was started last Monday, I think it was. Last Monday. And it's part of the Harlem Writers Guild and Harlem World Magazine at-home reading series. And we're doing it with the legendary Harlem Writers Guild. The Harlem Writers Guild is the oldest organization of African-American writers in the world, founded in 1950. And as I understand, this is the 70th anniversary. The Guild was founded by John Oliver Kellens, Rosa Guy, John Henrik Clark, Willard Moore, and Walter Christmas, and I'm sure there are others. But to find out more, go right to www.theharlemwritersguild.org, and we have 2 members with us here today. One of them, being Venida Rodman and Judy Andrews. And I think as we start today, how are you? First of all, I'm just being very rude today. How are you ladies doing today?
Oh, I don't
doing
think
well.
you are rude at all. Thank you.
Oh,
fine,
my mother would call me and put me in check right quick, so I wanted to make sure that I welcome you.
You're always a wonderful host. You're always a wonderful host, and I always enjoy being on your show.
And I will send you the check after the show. Thank you for those kind words.
Godiva chocolates?
I'm great. It's such a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And please, Venida, start.
Well, I'm just so happy to be here. Thank you so much, Danny, for the opportunity. And I've been with the Harlem Writers Guild for about 3 years now, so I'm probably one of the youngest members. I'm originally from Teaneck, New Jersey, and currently living in Inglewood. And I'm happy just to be a part of a strong group of individuals who love to write, and they inspire me. Yeah, they have inspired me tremendously. Definitely would like to do more with writing. During the day, I do equity and diversity work in higher education at New Jersey City University.
Wow.
So I'm also a minister, and a few weeks ago started a virtual online church experience, so that's been exciting. So a lot of my writing is sermon writing, in addition to pieces that focus on social justice and equity and diversity. So I wanted to share thank you. I wanted to share a piece today that I was able to submit to the National Women's Studies Association last year. And it's called She Says, I Am Not Your Negro, One Black Woman's Protest Against Invisibility. I stand in protest today because nobody knows the trouble I've seen. I protest today against the systemic annihilation of my voice, my contributions, my creativity, my dignity, her story, my womanhood, my humanity, my blackness. I honor my God and all of the ancestors who helped me find resilience in the face of anti-Black racism, for giving me the strength and courage to share my truth. The trouble that I see and experience comes in many ways, shapes, and forms on a regular basis. Whether it's locally or globally, directly or indirectly, I see and feel its devastating impact all around me. It's infuriating, painful, and disruptive to my quality of life and to my very existence. I testify today like the passionate and courageous Shiro, Fannie Lou Hamer, who boldly proclaimed, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. Wouldn't it be simply nice to live without having to think about it? Wouldn't it be wonderful to dwell on the attributes that make each of us unique and beautiful, understanding that God fearfully and wonderfully made us and that we all deserve to be valued? Now, when I count to 3, you will wake up out of this dream. So as much as I would like to live without racism, to live in the lap of luxury of a post-racial society, the reality is, we know that simply doesn't exist. The reality is that anti-Black racism is real and very much alive. This epidemic continues to poison and suffocate, divide and conquer, and destroy human connection. Anti-Black racism, a system of race prejudice plus power. What detestable images come to mind for you? Jim Crow, white hoods and robes, senseless, vicious acts, I can't breathe, or Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar trees? Or is it the systemic oppression in education, real estate, healthcare, media, the criminal justice system? Shall I go on? What's astounding today is that even with all of our resistance, accomplishments, and inroads, we still live in a culture of inequity and hate. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, white supremacist hate groups are on the rise, including the KKK. Last year, they tracked 1,020 hate groups across the United States. I protest the notion that hate and oppression are insignificant, that it happened a long time ago and we should just get over it. Public health experts point to a growing body of research suggesting the accumulated impact of these stressors affect long-term health and can contribute to higher rates of depression and mortality. These atrocities that persist, frustrate, hurt, and enrage me. Psychologist Dr. Jennifer Mullen says, the pain and hurt that created our rage are desperately searching for liberation. Our own liberation is deeply intertwined with the process of honoring and respecting our histories of trauma. What enrages you? Maybe it's frustration over having to renounce your family, name, language, and culture in order to assimilate. Can you relate to any form of racism or discrimination, or times when you felt that you or a loved one were treated unfairly, a time you felt excluded or treated inequitably? Do you remember how it made you feel? Maybe there are times when you question yourself, the universe, God. I certainly have. My prayer has been something like, Dear God, I hail from kings and queens, inventors and mathematicians, scientists and architects, and people of great faith who have helped build this country. And while my ancestors have contributed so much, they have and still experience so much hate, cruelty, and pain. Why, Lord? Why? And then I'm reminded He is the God of the oppressed. I may bend, but I will not break against the extreme cases of racism, nor will I break against the anti-Black racism that happens on a daily basis. For this reason, I harmonize with the many voices that continue to speak up, advocate, organize, disrupt, and resist. There were many examples of resistance in the Oscar-nominated documentary, I Am Not Your Negro. In it, James Baldwin, American playwright, novelist, thinker, activist, tells the story of race in modern America with his unfinished novel, Remember This House. Baldwin passed away over 30 years ago. However, his social commentary is relevant today. I am not your Negro. He was clearly onto something when he uttered these words. I decided I am not your Negro will be my new catchphrase. To be clear, I really don't want this to be my new catchphrase. Most days, racism is not the first thing on my mind. I'm just an ordinary person walking down the street, minding my own business, enjoying nature, the fresh air, trying to be in a zone, shopping, vacationing, and then it happens. A woman asks where she should check her bag while I'm on vacation. I don't know. I'm on vacation just like you. I am not your Negro. Someone approaches me in a store to help them find an item. They think I work there. Sorry, I'm shopping just like you. I am not your Negro. I'm in the elevator, merely taking my own food home, and someone thinks I'm a delivery person. The same person I had a conversation with weeks prior about the university we both attended. She was just 1 year ahead of me. Yes, I live here too. Go Syracuse. I am not your Negro. Trying to chill in our building's lounge, some family mistakes my husband for the cable man, and they were annoyed that he showed up when some baseball game was over. I am not your Negro. Waiting for our nephew to visit, we get a call from the doorman who referred to him as a delivery person. Venida, your delivery is on the way up. Not all black people who come to this building are delivery people. I am not your Negro. To the doormen who are now pissed because we complained about said incident, I am not your Negro. To the woman in power in higher education who says we shouldn't share stories about slavery because, Venida, they're just so painful. I am not your Negro. To my colleague who was surprised I was able to complete 2 sprint triathlons that included 2 800-meter swims. He looked puzzled, paused, and then said, but I thought that black people can't swim, I said. Well, yeah, he said. I am not your Negro. Waiting in line for my favorite almond croissant, the man behind me keeps inching up, invading my personal space, practically on top of me, and then proceeds to order before me. Excuse me, I was here first. Oh, I didn't see you. I know, I said, and I am not your Negro. So whether you see me or not, I am visible. I am a human being. I am here, not here to serve you, but to live, dream, and simply be free. I am resilient. And if I constantly hold on to all this stuff and live in a state of anger, pain, or revenge, it can compromise my wellness and quality of life and can lead to illness and disease. This does not mean that I simply forget about these experiences, past or present. I must always remember to never forget. As difficult as life can be, resilience helps me cling to the fact that, in spite of my circumstances, I am an overcomer. We are overcomers. I will continue to bear witness and be healed so that generations of women and all people can be seen, heard, and liberated. Thank you.
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
You know, that's going to be going through my head, and I'll have to make sure that I catch myself sometimes because I could probably say that a number of times throughout the day.
I'm sure.
You know what I'm hoping is that I'm going to. I know I'm going to, but I know that I'm sorry. I'm going back and forth with notes here.
It's okay.
That Judy will go next. And what I would want to do is I think that Judy will probably end with probably a few minutes at the end of the show, and then that's when I'll kind of go into questions, about what you do, how you do it, and a little bit more about Miss Grace Edwards that I know Judy will talk about. So I'm sorry, Judy.
Okay.
And this is Judy Andrews.
Yes. Hi. It's nice to be on your show. And this is what I'll talk briefly about the Harlem Writers Guild. This is what the Guild is all about. What Venida read, in the 1950s really corresponds to what is happening today. We still are carrying on the activism of the Guild, the activism of writers who, back in the 50s had a very difficult time getting their work published. And these wonderful people, Dr. Killens, as well as Rosa Guy and Walter Christmas, they introduced the Guild to the world by having these great writers write about exactly what Venida has just, shared with us. So we are continuing, the Harlem Writers Guild today is continuing that legacy of being able to express who we are universally and the universality of who we are without constantly being, put down with what we could call today microaggressions. Because sometimes you never really know today, if someone is really saying something because that's just who that person is and they don't really care about your race or your color or anything, or are they being rude to humiliate you or to hurt you, or are they basing it on stereotypes of who they expect you to be? The thing that's different today with racism and sexism and all of the isms is that they are well hidden. And the problems that I think that I know for myself that, many African-American people and people of color have is, what did she mean by that? So we spend the whole day, wondering, was that an insult or is she just mean? Is she a racist or is that just the way this person is? So, we have this double whammy where we have to figure it out and not get angry about it because guess what? They'll call the police. We have this phenomenon now where we have Barbecue Betty and all of these different people just calling the police on everyday things, lemonade stand, the poor people who have been murdered in their homes, because the police mistook them for a criminal or something. We're still dealing with this. So I think that the writing that the Guild does now is really, look at our own lives, in a universal kind of way, where everyone experiences what we're experiencing now. Everyone is feeling the pandemic. No matter what color, race, complexion, no matter what, everybody is feeling that. But with the Harlem Writers Guild, we write in sort of like a double-edged sword to express our interests and to express our feelings and our purpose and our passion. So I have been a member of the Guild, for many, many, many years. I was in college when I joined. I'll just say that. I was in college when I joined the Guild. And I met
it's an honor.
Thank you. Well, it's an honor to have you, too. We have so many great, brilliant writers in the Guild, and the feeling of warmth and respect and gratitude is at every meeting. And we have a great director who is leading the way, Diane Richards. We have great people, and we have some fabulous, fabulous African-American men in the Guild who are just so proactive, and so expressive in talking about and writing about what Black men are going through today. Which in the 50s you didn't, the premier Black men were Richard Wright and, maybe, James Baldwin later on and Ralph Ellison. But today we have such magnificent African-American authors who are writing like Colson Whitehead, and he's not a member of the Guild, as well as Ta-Nehisi Coates, who's not a member of the Guild. But we also have wonderful men like, Walter Dean Myers, who was a great member of the Guild, Walter Banks, Bob Desverney. We have these great men today that are really carrying on the legacy as well, because in the 70s it was just, African American were being, I guess the word would be treated well in terms of publishing, but you didn't see much writing about African American men. Yeah. So
Judy, I wanted to.
Yes.
Judy, I wanted to ask you, as you talk about the Guild's history, and I know we lost Grace Edwards. Can you talk a little bit about her work? Because we're down to our last 10 minutes and maybe a little less. Can you talk a little bit about her work and her contribution to the Guild?
Oh, yes, certainly. I met Grace, as I said, when I was in college, and I joined the Guild back then, I'll just say that. And she was like my second mother. I learned so much from her about, when I found out, by the way, she passed away on February 25th due to natural causes. And I happened to be coming from a Guild meeting, and someone called me Our meeting was on a Wednesday, and she had passed away on a Tuesday. And I was at Kings Highway in Brooklyn. I just could not stop crying, and I didn't care who was looking. So it was one of those New York moments where people were walking by, going, "Oh boy, is she okay?" But then I got on the bus, and I still couldn't stop crying. I will say that she was a mentor to me, a second mother to me. She was born and raised in Harlem. She was really a beacon of hope. You know, she was brilliant, and she left us with a legacy of exquisite writing, with 7 books of murder mysteries set in Harlem, which had never really been done before. She was a brilliant author as well. She taught us a lot of things about how to handle a story, how to develop a plot, how to develop a character. When she read at the Guild, there was you couldn't even hear a pin drop. It was so mesmerizing. Her level of creativity, as well as her extraordinary presence. I mean, this is a woman that I knew for maybe 25 years who never uttered a curse word in my presence. She would never let you gossip about anyone in her presence. She would never let you say anything unkind about any of the members in her presence. And even when she would come, you know, one thing that I really enjoyed about her was she would bring, you know, wine to the meetings. And at the time I was teaching. So when I got to the meeting, I was so happy to be at the meeting because I knew, oh, my goodness, I could have a glass of wine because my day was so horrible.
Relax a little bit.
She had such a soothing way. And at the meetings, we would have snacks. And, you know, it got to a point where it got really bad. We were having fried chicken. And people would come in with, at the time in Harlem, what is the name of that wonderful place that used to be on the corner? Pam Pam. We would stop at Pam Pam chicken and waffles. And then we'd come into the Schomburg, because that's where we meet now. We did meet. She set that up for us. And we would have our chicken and waffles, and they would pass around the wine. It was just wonderful, and people would be reading, and it was just a really wonderful, joyous occasion. And then there was
really building
party.
Community. Yeah.
Yes, we would have parties at her. You know, she had 3 homes, 2 in Crown Heights and 1 in Sag Harbor, and the parties that we would have in her backyard, at her home. And in Sag Harbor. I mean, one time we went to Sag Harbor, and we were supposed to be on a writer's retreat. We did nothing about writing. We went to the beach. They have a private beach, so we were on the beach all day. Then we went to the late B. Smith's restaurant because that was her neighbor, and we would just hang out over there.
Nice.
And, of course, we'd be going to hang out with Ruby Dee and Ossie Davis because they were good friends. So it was just an incredible and joyous time to have her there. And she did so many things without ever complaining for us. You know, like she set up our 501c. You know, she set that up for us as an organization. She had a mailbox for us. She got celebrities to work with us, to meet with us, and to come to our events. And we were always she was at every book fair. And you would see this woman who was at the time in her 70s, but I didn't know. I thought she was like much younger. And she would have a suitcase full of books, rolling them down the street.
Doing her thing.
And I'm like, how did she carry all of these books? And when we get to the book fair, they would be sold out. And she was able to solicit people to our table to purchase books. She was really phenomenal. If Maya Angelou, and by the way, she knew Maya Angelou, and they used to share space with John Henrik Clark when Maya came to New York to write, and she could tell you she was able to tell you many stories about Maya Angelou.
I bet she could.
The way that she behaved. I'll say that. But it was a wonderful, joyous time to know this brilliant, spectacular woman who I learned so much from, even about little things like men, how to act.
That's fantastic.
Just a lot of things about men.
That I sounded like a true mentor.
She truly was.
Yeah.
I learned so much about life and just living from her. And by the way, she was married 3 times now, so she knew what she was talking about.
It sounds like it. And Grace, I wanted to shift just a little bit with Venida and yourself, and really ask a little bit about, in essence, it involves Grace and it involves the other writers in the Guild, but more specifically, Venida and yourself. And either one of you can start first. I'm just curious about a little bit about your writing process, because there could be someone at home listening to us, and both one of you could have inspired them since they're at home, and they may be at home for a little while. Can you
right?
Can you share with them some things to think about regarding your writing process, and maybe each one of you, I hate to say it, has about a minute each to just maybe some tips, snippets of how they might start?
I would
quickly go Judy.
Join a writing organization, because that's the best way to network and meet people, as well as build and hone your craft. And don't be afraid to write from your experience, even if it may sound dreadful to other people, but you must write what you believe is true, and you must write your truth no matter what.
I would totally agree with that, Judy, in terms
Great
of
advice.
Writing your truth, and also thinking about the things that you're passionate about. Like really look within and see what's calling you, right? And then start to just get those things down on paper. And for me, because my writing is not always as consistent as I'd like for it to be, really scheduling that time in makes a difference. But when you feel it, try to get it down on paper.
So, Venida, is it inconsistent because of you don't have a set time, or it's just when you're inspired?
Well, before the pandemic, it was when I was inspired. Now it is more consistent because I'm preaching now on a more regular basis. But I would say that I have more time now. Now. So I'm taking advantage of the time, and I'm so appreciative of and very, very grateful for the time that I have to be able to commit to writing and also reading.
Yes.
So makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. You must write.
Judy?
You must write every day. Now that I am retired, I can write. I write maybe 4 to 8 hours a day. I do take a little break because I have to do some exercise. Because writing and a little bit. I don't do the whine thing, but I do like to. I like to write, and I like quiet. I like it really quiet. And once in a while, I'll put on some music. But the key is to write something every day, and you build on that, and that's how.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That really does. Yeah. And believe it or not, we have a little over a minute left, and I wanted to ask each one of you to how our readers can stay in touch with you. Whether it's an email or your website connection. Can you share that with our readers? Remember, you have about 30 seconds each, if that.
Venida.Rodman, Venida.Rodman, like Dennis, no relation, @gmail.com. Venida.Rodman@gmail.com. And it's just a joke. I'm sure we're probably related somewhere.
And it's spelled the same as Dennis Rodman, not related, correct? Your last name?
Correct. Yep. Venida.Rodman@gmail. Yep.
Sorry about that.
That's funny. Sorry. And I am.
Clock's ticking.
Oh boy, that image right away. It's like, no. I am Blessed Brown, BLESSED, Brown, BROWN.com.
Thank you very much, ladies. Believe it or not, we've got 10 seconds left. I knew it was going to fly by. Thank you so much for being on
this was wonderful.
the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right.
And the same to you.
Take care.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe and have a
And thank you,
day.
folks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so
okay.
much.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.